One of the projects on my would be nice to do list is a self-sufficient power supply for a data logger. It looks like the sea may have provided me with the perfect electronics for that. So this washed up on a local beach recently, and with a lot of Google image searches I managed to find out what it actually does. And it's a remote echo sounder. There's the echo sounder on the bottom there. And it takes an image of the sea beneath it and then transmits that via satellite to the fishermen so that they can find out if there are any shoals of fish in the area. So I did some more searches as well on some of the numbers and on this to see if I could find out the owner. I didn't really get anywhere. If you put that into Google, you just end up with gallium arsenide. So with the look of the case as well, it's been around in the sea for some time, I decided I would keep it and have a go at opening it up. Now opening it turned out to be a bit of a mission. This came off, and I originally thought it would unscrew, but it doesn't. This plastic on the top here is siliconed into the case here, and in the end, after trying to prise it off, I decided that the only way to get in was to hacksaw it all the way around the edge. So with that done, I'll jump forwards to show you what the electronics are on the inside. Took quite a while to actually disassemble everything. The electronics, well, this lot, not the solar panel, were all in another sealed plastic case inside, and these wires were coming through it. You can see that little block of sealant there. So I had to disassemble all that, but this is basically everything here is the electronics from inside it, apart from the actual echo sounder itself, which is still screwed into the case itself. So we've got here is the satellite transmitter receiver, and that's also where I think all the main brains of it are inside there. So you've got the wires coming down to this board, which is mostly power stuff, and on the top there, that's the echo sounder board there as well. So the echo sounder plugs into that. So we've got, these are just flashing lights, these two wires here. There's a red and a white LED on those. That's just a Hall effect sensor, so that's the switch that's on the top. And then underneath is the exciting bit. I'll need to unplug all this, and I'll show you what's underneath the board. So this is the echo sounder board that just unplugs. That's obviously just off the shelf board that will be. And underneath here is the exciting bit. So uses a supercapacitor for the storage of the energy from the solar panel to keep it going at night. And it's a massive 3000 farad, 2.7 volt, 3 watt hours, which sounds incredibly impressive until you compare it to this, which is a lithium ion, so 18450 or something like that, I think it is. And these little cells stores about the same amount of energy, so it's not that impressive. But it does have a much greater number of charge-discharge cycles, obviously, being a capacitor. And the other thing is that it's got a huge current rating, so we can have some fun with that later. The bit I'm most interested in, which I shall probably have to create my own board because this is rather big and bulky and has extra stuff on it, but we need obviously control over the charging of the capacitor because it mustn't be overcharged. The solar panel, this ring of solar panels, gives out about 3.5 volts open circuit. So we've got here that I believe just shorts across the solar panel when the capacitor is charged. And then this lot here and here are all DC step-up converters. I've measured voltages on these. I'm getting 4.9 volts. Seem to be 3 of them, and they all come together. They're all connected up in parallel, I believe. And I've also get about 4.7 volts out of this as well. So I guess they kind of undervoltage it a little bit. It says 5 volts on the board here, just to reduce the power consumption a bit. So yeah, I might try and reuse these, or just get my own DC-DC converter. You can't have one of these without at least finding out what happens when you short circuit the thing, because it's quite a beast this. The datasheet says it's rated at almost 2000 amps. So I'm not going to put a big nail across it or anything. I don't want to overcurrent the thing, because I actually want to use it. But I'll see if I can melt a little piece of copper wire. So that's a very brief teardown of one of these satellite linked Echo Sounder boys, and I shall hopefully post a video sometime in the future if I make use of some of the components. Certainly the solar panel and the capacitor will be very useful. Obviously the satellite link and the Echo Sounder would need expensive software to make any use of it. And apparently if the Echo Sounders was still on when it got beached, it can damage them when they're used out of water. But possibly the DC converters could be used, and the solar charging circuit. But that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.